Eleanor loved the tranquility nighttime brought, but she despised the terrors it often held. For nights on end, she lay frozen, a prisoner of her own body, caught between the dream world and the waking world. This night was no different. As the clock struck midnight, the weight of an unseen force descended on her chest. She tried to scream, to thrash, to move even a single finger, but her body defied her will. Her breaths grew shallow, suffocated by the oppressive silence that blanketed the room. Eleanor's eyes were the only part of her that obeyed. They darted wildly, scanning the darkness for any sign of the malevolent presence she sensed lurking just out of view. She could hear the faint, rasping breaths of something not quite human, could feel its icy fingers trailing down her arms, leaving in their wake a paralyzing cold. Her mind raced, flitting through memories and fragments of dreams, struggling to find a foothold in reality. A shadowed figure started to take form at the foot of her bed, its features indistinguishable but its intent palpably menacing. Eleanor felt a jolt of recognition, as though she'd seen this wraith before in the darkest corners of her nightmares. The room's corners seemed to stretch and grow, distorting her perception as the figure moved closer. A sinister whisper echoed in her ears, threading through her thoughts until she could no longer distinguish them from her own. Despite the terror gripping her, a fragment of Eleanor's consciousness clung desperately to rationality. This was sleep paralysis, a cruel trick of her mind. If she could just stay calm, if she could just... But the figure leaned in, its face finally illuminated by the pale moonlight streaming through the window. Eleanor's own reflection stared back at her, twisted into a hideous mask of agony. She couldn't look away, couldn't escape the horror of her own visage glaring at her.